Hello, my name is Camille Craft. I am the owner and creator of Vital Mystic, and we have landed on this video because you have purchased or are interested in purchasing the Ritual Planner. So, the Ritual Planner is something that I created about 3 years ago, and ultimately, I have just tested its efficacy. This is my personal ritual calendar and how I match action with astrology. I'm just going to give you the basics of how to use this calendar. If you come to our channels on YouTube or even on Instagram, I give a weekly forecast that's called Signs, and I dive into each week specifically and how to match that energy. So if you're not already subscribed to our community channels, please go ahead and subscribe. We would absolutely love to have you on the newsletter as well that you can find at vitalmystic.com. So overall, how to use this planner. I'm going to just try to sum it up as quickly as I can. Timing for ritual matters. Any ritual done at any time, awesome. It's better than doing nothing at all. But as we get more in tune with the natural cycles, in tune with our birth charts, our energy, we are going to find kind of almost like different layers of expertise. And one of the first layers of understanding ritual is actually working with the moon cycle. And it's being able to know that this is one of the fastest moving luminaries in our planetary system. And the reason why it makes it so great to work with ritual is because it moves through every sign in about 28 days. In astrology as well, the moon rules our internal world. And when we know that we're working with manifestation and we're trying to create an external result, the first thing that we need to look at is our internal world, our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, our experiences, all of those things. And so I've mapped out this particular calendar for you using the moon cycles and the 5 types of ritual that I do in my ritual practice that has created over like a 7-figure brand, all sorts of opportunities for me. And now I'm placing that into your hands for you to create the most powerful life that you possibly can being on this planet and coming back to that unique power that you hold and the destiny that you're here to create. So, in the 5 types of ritual, there are going to be quick manifestation rituals. Those are going to be focused on when we want to bring in a result like this. Please do not only focus on quick manifestation. I'm going to explain that in just a second. We're also going to have intuition healing rituals. These are when we need to tap in, really tending into our higher self. We need to have an intuitive guidance. We're looking to release something from our lives. We also have shadow work rituals. Whatever you do, please, please, please do your ritual sequence in this order. At least one shadow work or healing ritual before or to prepare the energy of your manifesting rituals, if you understand what I'm saying. The reason why I say this is because what I have seen in a lot of work of coaching many, many different clients around the world globally, most of the actual work is done in our shadow work, in our subconscious. And so when we're coming into ritual, we're working with energetics, but we could still hold belief systems, experiences, trauma, all of those things that without the significant support of consistent release work, our manifestations are being planted into a garden that doesn't have an opportunity to actually root because there's all sorts of stuff in there we have to weed out first. So, my general rule of thumb is to always do a release ritual and then a manifestation. Or if you're doing a series, I highly suggest at least one release ritual or one shadow work ritual per 3 manifesting rituals if you're wanting to do more of a series. The other types of rituals that were outlined on the actual calendar are love magic. So these are incredible to call in new relationships, new connections, community, self love, and appreciation. And then money magic, really great for business, investments, kind of tuning into greater things of opportunity that are going to bring in wealth. And then breakthrough rituals, which are going to be focused on moving through certain types of mindset, right? Our limiting beliefs or the different things that we're holding, or if we're feeling kind of stuck and we're over analyzing over and we're like, well, we don't know what to do. Those are the types of days that we want to tap in and say, okay, what do I need to release? Or what do I need to call in to break through with that form of clarity? The second piece that you're also going to see on here Is you're going to see, and I'm going to kind of toggle us over to the first page of the 2025 ritual calendar in May of 2025 for Taurus season. But you're going to see a release action and you're going to see a manifesting action. And I'm going to show you this because I know some of us are visual learners. But when we see the release on top, that means the release energy is dominant for that time, depending on the cycles of the moon. It means that that's naturally a time to release. It doesn't mean that you can't manifest during this time, but I have provided some instructions here on how to do that specifically. If, say, for instance, we're in a waning moon phase or a full moon phase, but you want to bring in manifestation or you've been already focusing on release work, then I'm going to have you start working with the hands of the clock. And this came from one of my mentors years and years ago. And she told me that you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for the moon to be waxing or waning. You can actually work with the cycles of the clock, right? Because what does the clock look like? And what do our rising signs work with, right? In astrology, it works with the signs of the clock, times of the clock. So when we're thinking about that, if it is a release dominant time, that means that you can manifest. I would look to make sure that void of course hours are not present. And I'm going to give you a little link on how to do that. But then also, you're going to want to do it if you can when the clock is going up. So the energy is going up. This is 6 to 12. I've had many clients work with this. And again, there's no rules. Any ritual is better than none at all. But if you can, doing and timing your manifesting rituals, release is great anytime, but really timing your manifestation rituals with the specificity of what day, the moon is in, what's overall going in the overall astrological atmosphere, energetics, and then being able to be more specific with that. When you're in a dominant manifesting time, so new moon to full moon, when we're waxing, you can still do release work. And I've provided some instructions on the calendar on how to do that. The last thing I'm going to touch on is void of course. Void of course means that when the moon is moving between signs, typically in ritual, anyone who's into alchemy, anyone who has studied how to create powerful ritual products that my company did previously, anything along those lines, we want to be very specific because we are working with subtle energetics. And as we know, when we're working with energy, everything's very sensitive. Everything that we're thinking, everything that we're moving with, it's like a little energetic imprint, right? And so that time sensitivity is really important. So I would say overall general rule of thumb, release work during void of course is fine, but as far as manifestation work or when you're wanting to manifest and bring things in, I highly suggest to do it outside of the hours of void of course. I have provided a link for you guys to go into astroseek.com, and in there you can just type in your local time, and I'm going to show you how to walk through this as well on the next slide. So I have provided that link there for you. And also you can, let me see, this will come up. So I'll show you how that looks. The last thing I'm going to say is the Cazimis. So Cazimis specifically are highly manifesting days depending on the transit that it's working with. So in very simple terms, this is when the sun is at the same degrees as a transit, any type of planet in a certain sign. Now, the energy of that specifically is going to shift just depending on the archetypes and the different planetary aspects that are involved. But overall, I have marked the calendar for those days because they are very important, highly manifesting, highly transformative days. And when we're working with ritual, we want to be aware of that. And I've highlighted quite a few. And once again, if you would like the weekly breakdown, please come check out Signs Forecast, and we're breaking it down for y'all in there. So with that said, this is the first example of what our ritual calendars are going to look like. So I just want to point out that, when we're working with specific seasons, they are not a month by month basis. They are basically initiating and creating when the sun moves into a specific sign. So as you can see for Taurus season, it's not like, okay, May 1st, it's Taurus season, right? There are different dates. And so I've put those dates at the top. And you're going to see, okay, 419, 520, 519. When you see this and a little break in between, that means I ran out of space down here to keep going with the sun sign season. And I just kind of put it at the top. So what we're moving here is that, at the time of this release on May 7th, we're going to be well past a part of this Taurus season, but I wanted to put it in here just in case for you guys, in case you wanted to go back and kind of study or whatever it is. So what I would like to just kind of overall give you the visual of is that every single month you're going to initiate with this little sun, that little guy, and then the symbol of the sign of the sun sign season that we're moving into. To the right over here on this specific key to the right of the calendars, we have all of the luminaries. So we have each one of the main luminaries here. These are your symbols. And then in each one of these signs are not in order. The sign is linked to the planet that rules it, right? And sometimes some of the signs have double rulership because it was before we even knew of the outer planets. So I've put that all here. Leo is ruled by the sun, Cancer is by the moon, Virgo, Gemini is Mercury, etc. So you're going to see some double rulership again because some signs were given another planetary ruler later on. But in the roots of alchemy and when all of this was established, when ritual and alchemy were really, really kind of prevalent, we didn't know about those things. So with that said, we have Monday is ruled by the moon, Tuesday is ruled by Mars, Wednesday is ruled by Mercury, Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, Friday is ruled by Venus, Saturday is ruled by Saturn, and Sunday is ruled by the sun. So you might find some things there as far as planetary days. That's one of the most root ways of working with ritual without having to track everything. We have gone a little bit up into the expertise piece here. And ultimately, that is going to come into working with the moon cycles and the overall general transits. So, if you are looking for more dialed support specific to your birth chart, we do and we will be teaching that. It's called the quantum acceleration method. And I will be sharing more information on that. But this is such a good root base if you just want to start understanding the cyclicity and impact of how to work with these subtle energetics for the overall efficacy of your ritual practice and to increase its overall results. So you're always going to see symbols such as this, the moon, this little guy, this moon. That is your new moon sign. We always have times for new and full moons on there. Again, this ritual calendar was created in the PST, Pacific Standard Time zone. So if you're in another time zone, you're just going to want to look up that Void of Course calendar that I gave you. And underneath that in AstroSeek, they will also tell you the specific timing for your time zone. Maybe in the future, if there's a large demand, we will create another calendar for those of you who are in Southern Hemisphere. But for now, please go ahead and just add on your hours and the difference in time. The main things that we want to pay attention to is when we see this little VOC. That means that on that day, for at least a portion of that day, the moon's going to be moving through signs. So I would like you to go to that VOC link that we have actually put into your welcome email. And I want you to track that, right? I also want you to go ahead and put in there like your local time zone, and you can keep checking that back. There's also Moon Void of Course apps that you can use as well. So ultimately, if you really want to get super nerdy and specific, you can do that. With that said, we will always have major transits. So we will always have like Venus moving into the next sign or Mercury retrogrades or eclipses. Those will all be outlined for you. And I have specifically put all the different actions for each day. And so ultimately, when we're thinking about ritual, we always just want to know am I doing a release ritual or am I doing a manifestation? Release ritual if I haven't done any ritual this week or previously, and then a manifestation if we feel that we are clear and we're ready to move forward. What you're going to see, like I said, in here is that at the top of each day, from the new moon until the full moon, let me see where that full moon is, should be around here, somewhere right here. You should see until the last day before the full moon, you will see manifesting on the top. That is your main action for that time. Do you remember me saying that? So that is going to be the main action for that time. Again, check out the instructions from the previous slide. If you would like to perform release work during that time, again, release work is so powerful. It literally can be performed at any time. And I'm just going to give you a little secret. I have seen more success from release work than I ever have manifestation. It doesn't mean that manifesting isn't working, but a lot of people don't realize how much little like subconscious stuff that we're holding on. So like that's why I always say, definitely do your release work. From the full moon beyond, and then into the dark moon, you're going to see the releasing portion on the top because that's the dominant action. Again, there are instructions provided inside if you prefer, if you get the call. And once again, I'm always going to say this, your intuition trumps everything, right? Whether the perfect timing of the day, whatever, tune in, watch yourself, right? Maybe, sometimes I am doing series or different rituals and I'm like, I really feel like I need a release ritual kind of put in there, right? Or if I'm doing like an 8-part series, I will scatter in release rituals every 3 rituals. I just want you to be aware of like tune in with yourself. Your intuition is always on point. Tap into your higher self, and really use this as a guide, but this isn't a rule, right? You're the co-creator, and this is just a plan for you to create consistency and cyclicity with your ritual practice. The last piece I'm going to mention right now is you're going to see this symbol. It looks like this, like a sun or a star. Those are Cazimis. So Cazimis, like I said, are going to be the transits of the planet is coming up right against or with at the same degree as the sun. What it does is it just manifests and creates a lot of energy around that. So those are some dates that we want to be aware of. Again, please go ahead and follow our signs forecast every week. I will break it down for you guys. But we would love to hear any form of feedback, any results that you guys achieve, and just like anything, any form of feedback of what you would like to see in the ritual calendar or how we are creating this space, because we will keep launching and definitely have another version November 2025 for 2026. So this is kind of the beta launch. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. Once again, I'm going to show you just really quick how to do this. So this is the link, the Moon Void of Course link. I am in Santa Cruz, so that's why it came up. But up here, when you hit that link that we're going to provide for you in the calendar, you want to change to your local time. And then all of this tells you the actual time based on your time zone of when you are going to have Void of Course hours. And so the way to see that is, okay, April 30th, at 8:48, the moon is going to leave Gemini and then it will land. It will officially be in Cancer. May 1st at 12:23. So just between those hours, avoid doing ritual unless it's release work and making sure that you are moving with that specificity. The reason why I say that is when things are more defined in astrology, basically when we're more clear, then the energy is more clear, right? But if we are like, okay, we're going to kind of do this whenever, we're just haphazard all over, we're kind of probably not going to get super consistent results. So the reason why I put this stuff in here is for you to create powerful, consistent, cyclical results that help you quantum leap very easily in your life, depending on your specific, desires and so forth. And it's not here to overwhelm you. Again, any ritual done anytime is going to support you in your growth. And it's better than doing nothing at all. But if we can just like get in there and have some fun with it and just, learn what it's like to actually create a cyclical practice. Ritual is one of those things that the more that you tend the fire, the more that you do it. And I'm not talking like manifesting, like just I have to do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. And like not manic manifesting. I'm not talking about that. But if we can be consistent and we can come from the place of, this is the space, this is the mentality of me investing in the future and the life that I know I'm meant to be here to live, I'm going to tend that fire. And the more that I tend that fire, the bigger that fire grows. And the more that I tend that fire, not just me, I'm not just getting warmed by it, but other people are getting warmed by it too. And then all of a sudden, we have all these big, beautiful fires, and we're creating these big, beautiful communities because you being in your power, you being in your heart, you being in your magic, that is going to create a ripple effect, not just for you, but for our communities and for our world as well. So, thank you all for being here. I really, really encourage you to just have fun with this. And I hope that you can come and join us on the newsletter as well as in the Alchemy membership. If you feel like you would want to take this a step further, inside of there, we are actually doing every single ritual together and we are outlining with various classes. It's an incredible hub to learn with us. So with that said, just wishing you an incredible and beautiful day and enjoy your ritual calendars.